city you burn, I'm gonna build one high.
The following contains disturbing imagery. Viewer discretion is advised.
The Blood launched their infamous Crimson Harvest last week, plunging New Eden into a season of bloodshed and terror. Led by the deranged Omir Sarakusa, the Blood Raiders are known for their brutal raids and cult-like devotion. To mark the first feast of the harvest, Bloody Omir delivered a chilling broadcast to his followers, reveling in the blood of the Crimson Harvest's first victims.
Travelers, on the road to life and power eternal, hear me. The corrupt herd priests of the false faith claim deception is a grave sin. In this, as so often they twist the truth. Self-deceit is the real sin of this life. Do not turn away from your true nature. Live it. Act it. Those who hide their dependency on the immortals of New Eden may well cower like cattle, for we shall ever be the predators. Now, my warriors, we shall strike back at the false faith and reap the due harvest under our blades!
As the Crimson Harvest continues to blanket New Eden in violence, a long-standing feud between the Blood Raider Covenant and the Zealous Order of St. Tetramon has rekindled. The Tetramon Order, a secretive sect within the Amar Empire, is known for its fanatical devotion to religious purity. They see the Blood Raiders as abominations, heretical cultists who corrupt the sacred Amar faith. The escalating conflict between these two factions has opened new opportunities for Capsuleers. As the Tetramon Order and Blood Raiders deploy forward bases and hidden strongholds across New Eden, many Capsuleers have taken advantage of the chaos, striking at these outposts for their own gain. Forward operating bases, defended by each faction's forces, offer valuable loot for those daring enough to attack, while hacking sites scattered across the cluster present Capsuleers with lucrative data and resources to exploit. Whether hunting for Blood Raider combat caches or sabotaging Tetramon communications, Capsuleers are often unable to resist the urge to plunge deep into the heart of this conflict, shaping the outcome while reaping its rewards. This is Alton Hovery, reporting for The Scope.
Greetings, fellow Empyreans. I am Ashtarothi, the voice of New Eden, and it is October 14th, YC126, and this is the Eve Universe Show! Welcome, guys. How's it going? We are live this Monday, Friday. Friday didn't work out for me. So we are live this Monday. We have things that we wanted to talk about. The expansion, of course, was announced last week. We did have a video where Dutch Gunner and I went over a lot of the details. There is still some other details that I might want to circle back on as we kind of figure out things out. In particular, I do want to go over the, oh shoot, now that I thought about it, the communications. So, but we'll get to that in a second. The plan today is, well, okay. Right now, there is a fairly unique opportunity, something that I don't know if it has ever really happened. Well, it has kind of happened in EVE before, but never to this extent. It's not that serious, don't worry. But like normally CCP has only one event going on at a time, right? Now with the advent of like campaign events, as well as the holiday events, they sometimes crossed over. Like I think Shadow War crossed over with some event, but now that I think about it, that might have happened when they didn't have those summer events. So we either have very rarely had two events cross over each other, or haven't had that before. But as of right now, we have two different things going on. We have the Crimson Harvest, which is the annual Blood Raider Tetramon event, and we have the lead up to not Vanguard, Revenant, the newest expansion. So there's a Doodad collection event going on for the Deathless. And interestingly enough, at least for me, the Blood Raider event has data sites for both sides that you can do in order to, progress the track. In the event that you're not really that big into combat, or you don't want to compete with a bunch of marauders, you can always just do the hacking sites, but they're data sites. On the other hand, though, because of the Deathless and that event, right now, Atavums, which is a new object, is dropping in any relic sites. So what that means is, right now, there is special things going on in both data and relic sites, which I think is pretty cool. Now, last week, just to experiment a little bit, I yeeted out into nullsec just to see if I could get my hands on an Atavum. I learned a few things. First of all, I learned that you need 30 Atavums, not 3, to turn in. So I need to go get more. But the other thing I learned is never go Yeet Exploration running without your data analyzer. Like, I swear to God, I made it 25 jumps before I found a single relic site, and all I found was data site after data site after data site after wormhole after data site after data site. It was wild. I always say, like, you always find what you're not looking for. The one time I don't bring my data analyzer, it just kicks me in the junk over and over and over again about it. So today, undeterred, I have a pacifier that I am going to go into nullsec with. So let's talk a little bit about this. I've talked about Yeet Exploration before. I've got videos about it, but it's worth explaining a little bit the concept. So exploration is one of the most lucrative ways for one of the more lucrative professions in EVE Online. However, it is very much based on random chance. It's all a numbers game. It is also probably the best way for a newer player or an alpha pilot to seek their fortune, because the amount of ISK that you can generate from it versus the cost of ships to operate it in it the only thing that's even close is faction warfare, right? Because you can go out in 3 million ISK ships and go out and find an adventure, and there's a reasonably decent chance that you'll come back with 10, 20, 30 times that on the first trip. In fact, I've had times where I've just warped to a gate, found a bunch of drones, sucked up the drones, and paid off my next 5 ships. So exploration is a really, really great profession, especially for newer players. Now, it's worth noting that newer players, especially alpha clones, cannot cloak. So keep that in mind as we go through today. Cloaking is commonly used by explorers to protect themselves, but it is not necessary. I've done videos before where we have done exploration with ships, with Tech 1 ships that do not cloak, and it's perfectly fine. Remember, this is all about luck. So chances, like, yeah, sure, there is a chance that somebody will catch you, and that chance goes up if you don't have a covert ops cloak. But you know what? You have a disposability tank. If you're in a ship that's 5 million ISK, who cares if you lose one every so often if a single site pays for 5 more, right? Ironically enough, in that one relic site I did last night, or the other day, I got 98 million ISK in a single can, which was wild. Not typical. I'd never seen that much in a can before, but just to point it out. So it is a good way for, and the thing I really, really like about Yeet Exploration, as opposed to normal exploration, is, and actually really almost any activity in EVE Online, especially for a newer player. The reason why I recommend Yeet Exploration for a newer player or anybody who's currently bored and just wants a fun thing to do, right? Here's why it works. In almost every case, when it's like, oh, I want to do X, there's a whole bunch of preparation process about finding the correct sites, getting the stuff in the correct positions. There's always a lot of like prep work that's required for a lot of activities, especially more lucrative ones, right? Even exploration has this weird thing where it's like, you don't know where you're going to go. And like, so I start out in a trade hub or wherever I start out with, and I just kind of go out there and hope I find a wormhole to nullsec or something like that. That's interesting, but I might not find anything. I might not find any good routes. It may just be annoying. But more importantly, I have to set out and do something. It's a very active role. I have to choose my adventure, which for a newer player or even a player that's just wanting something that's a bit more direct, I think it makes far more sense in the Yeet Exploration philosophy. So the way it works is we're going to use these noise needle jack filaments, right? We're going to use the noise needle jack filaments to teleport to a random null security space. Now we use noise instead of signal because signal are designed to send you to a potentially active nullsec space. And we want as little activity as possible. Noise doesn't guarantee that it won't be activity. It's just random. But signal is much more likely to be an active system. So we're using noise filament to get into nullsec. And the reason why I like this isn't just the fact that it bypasses the whole you have to find a wormhole to get to nullsec thing, but it really frames the adventure in a very clear way, right? You yeet out to nullsec, you need to get back home. And you have tools to make money and to get back home. You can either find a wormhole home, you can carry, if you want to cheat, you can bring Potchfin filaments to be able to get home that way. But the idea is that, like, now that you're stranded in the middle of nowhere, now what? And I find that that's so much better of a framing for an adventure than a lot of the things that EVE Online gives you, which is basically just wander around and find something, right? So, Burek was talking in chat earlier during the pre-show, talking about how they went and did a Yeet Exploration yesterday. And even though they had 10 years of experience, it sounds like they had a lot of fun and got some excitement out of it and got some treasure out of it. So I'm telling you guys, it doesn't matter if you're brand new or if you're just jaded. Grab an exploration ship that you're okay with losing and just go on a fucking adventure. Just do it. Shouldn't have sworn. Sorry. But that's what we're doing today. And that's why. So I am going to be a little bit more elitist today. So I'm going to go with the safety of my pacifier. So this pacifier is designed to be stupid fast and stupid hard to catch. Okay. I have, if we look at the information in the high slots, I've got my covert ops cloaking device, Sisters Core probe launcher, 2 tractor beams, and an interdiction nullifier. The 2 tractor beams was back when we were doing the fishing event to work with that. You made 2 billion ISK as an alpha in a probe. Hell yeah. Hey, what's up, Dutch Gunner? So the tractor beams aren't necessarily essential, but, you know, you might find something that you want to scoop up and not have to travel all the way to. The interdiction nullifier is because we're going to nullsec. So if there's bubbles, this allows us to get out of them just fine. It does make it a little bit harder for us to lock things, but ultimately that doesn't really matter. Now, why do I have a data analyzer 1? I'm so glad I double checked this. Hold on. That's not what I wanted. If I had yeeted out like that, I would have been very sad. Now, I could go with an integrated analyzer, but A, those are more expensive, and, you know, I don't really need to. So I've got my relic analyzer, my data analyzer, my microwarp drive, and a range finding array. The range finding array helps with the scan strength. I don't really know if I need this one per se. I might want to go with like acquisition or something. I just went with this because it was like, I just wanted it to be even easier to get locks. I live in a wormhole, and I can tell you new guys, sometimes you spend 1 to 2 hours and make nothing. Other days you make 100 million in 10 minutes. That is true. Like I said, it is a numbers game. But that's why I stress the fact that when you yeet out to null, it's always an adventure. It may not be a jackpot, but it's always an adventure. The best example that I have is back in the day when I went on to a lot of other people's streams. There was a newbie that was streaming, and I convinced them to do Yeet Exploration. And we got them all set up, explained how exploration goes, all that sort of stuff. Yeeted out, and there are 8 jumps from 1 DQ in the middle of World War B. And I was like, new plan. Who cares about the exploration? I'll pay for your ship. Just set destination to 1 DQ and see what happens when you get there, right? Not all excitement needs to be lucrative, you know? Not all adventures end up well, but they're exciting nonetheless. Win, lose, draw, whatever. There's always a story that comes from it. In my lows, I have an expanded cargo hold, a armor repairer, which this is the height of optimism, I guess I'm going to say, because if this thing saves me, I won't even know what to say. But I have an overdriver injector system to go fast, and I have a warp core stabilizer to help me go in the event that I happen to get pointed, right? And then I have 2 hyperspatial velocity optimizers. So that means that this pacifier, just on its own, without the micro warp drive on, has a 5-second alignment time, which isn't great. So I can't just warp off zippy like sometimes I would like to. However, it has a warp speed bonus. It has a warp speed of 18 AU. Fastest warp in the West, man. So this is going to help me get from place to place to place to place, no matter, you know, faster. Again, it's a numbers game. The more systems you scan, the more sites you run, the more cans you hack, the more likely that you will get the one that pays for them all. How come I'm not just using nanos? No real good reason. No, I'm not using nanos because the overdrive injector system, this was about going fast, right? So nanos go fast. The downside to overdrive injector systems, I was wrong about that. Hold on. Why aren't I using nanos instead of overdrive injector systems? That's a good question. So, just so people don't know, overdrive injector system make you go fast, right? It increases your velocity by 12.5%, but it has a cargo capacity bonus, and more importantly, it doesn't change your agility, which means it doesn't change how fast you get up to speed. It just changes how fast you can get to, okay? Whereas a nano, what's happening? Oh. Whereas a nano, see, it only provides a 9.5% velocity optimizer. However, it also reduces my inertia and doesn't reduce my cargo capacity. So if I was to switch out this overdriver injector system with a nano, my alignment becomes 4 seconds instead of 5. And if I put on a second nano, I don't get below 3 seconds, so that doesn't really give me anything. But I do believe that we have shown that I should be using a nano over an overdrive injector system. Thank you so much. To Jeff. Let's get that slapped on there. Can inertial stabs can do inertial stabs if you want more align time and don't care for top speed. Right, that's what I was. So, Oki, that was what I was thinking. Inertial stabilizers have better alignment, but they're the ones that make it so it's easier for you to be locked. So I don't think it necessarily does anything for me. Yeah, even with 2 inertial stabilizers, I still am above 3 seconds, which basically just means that my alignment is 4 seconds long. It doesn't matter. So 2 inertial stabilizers and 1 nanofiber have the exact same alignment speed. Even though one is 3.16 seconds and one is 3.97 seconds, they both have a 4-second alignment speed. What about 3? Don't be crazy. I want my cargo expander and I want my warp core stabilizer. I think that I could get rid of some of the hyperspatials if I really wanted to get my alignment below 3, but I'm not going to get my alignment before 2, so what's the point? Two is the cutoff for becoming unprobable. All right, so where were we? Yeah, so, oh yeah, the data analyzer. Data Analyzer 2. The new Relic Analyzer is so good. I really want one. It's so good. I really wish it was one of the ones that could affect both Data and Relic. But, like, so the new rewards from the Adavum turn-ins include this Relic Analyzer, which... the bonus here, let's go to variation tabs and compare. The bonus here is virus strength. Look at this. 5 additional virus strength. So instead of 20, 30, 45, 35, right? Which means if you put it on a pacifier, if you put this on a pacifier, because of the bonuses, or like any sort of hacking bonus chip, you get 45 virus strength, okay? This is huge. And the reason why is because of the way that hacking works. So when you hit a defensive node in hacking, you do damage to the defensive node first. And then if the defensive node is still alive, then the defensive node does damage to you, right? So, for example, in mid-tier sites, the base, well, the hard-hitting, low-integrity, I think it's a firewall. I can't remember which one's which off the top of my head, has 40 coherence. It's like 4080. So if you have a Tech 2 analyzer with a bonus chip, you hit it for 40, kill it outright. It never does damage to you. If you have less than that, because you either have a Tech 1 analyzer or a non-bonus chip, Now that defense module takes 2 hits, which means it gets a hit on you. So if you can kill a module in 1 hit, a defense node in 1 hit, it never does any damage to you. This is why people with like black glass and good analyzers and whatever can just smash through most hacks, because they can just blow up a lot of the nodes without them even being able to do anything. And the ones that do, they can blow up in two hits, and then you're fine to go. One of the defining features about the hardest hacks, the sleeper difficulty red hacks in the game, is that they have 90 coherence on the 20 attack power, the antivirus node, right? So usually you have to actually hit it 3 times, right? You hit it once, that's 40, twice, that's 80, one more time to kill it. So that means it manages to get 40 points off of you because it gets 2 chunks, right? This thing, 45 plus 45 is 90. It kills it in 2 shots flat. It gets 1 hit on you. And that's just one example. There's plenty of little places where that extra 5, because of multiple hits, means 10, and that makes it better, especially with things like suppression nodes and how they influence things and stuff like that. So don't get confused. This small bonus in virus strength is huge. You'll notice there's no real bonuses to virus strength on like rigs or anything like that. It's because virus strength is the most powerful stat in hacking, period. So the other thing, access difficulty bonus is big too. Seems to change how many defensive subsystems that you have to fight. I don't believe that, Jeff. I don't know if that's true. I actually don't think that access difficulty bonus does anything anymore. It used to, but so it used to be that hack cans didn't have a mini game. It was just it cycled, much like salvaging. And so that access difficulty bonus comes from that. So if you have a module, or if there's something that you can hack without doing the mini game, then it relies on the access difficulty to open it. I don't know if it impacts the actual minigame itself. I don't think so. I've never heard of that. Anywho, okay, so the other thing that the Deathless is giving out is Satori Horigu Combat Scanner Probes. Satori Horigu is one of the groups that work for the Deathless now. So they have these scanner probes. If we hit these and compare, we can see maximum flight time is, so they're significantly faster in between scans, which remember, so combat probing is not the same as normal probing, right? First and foremost, it is about speed. The amount of time from when your combat probes are in are in space, so that way it can be detected by D-scan, to when you have a lock on the target and so can suck back in your probes so they're no longer on D-scan, that moment of time is critical, and minimizing it is huge. And these take 3 seconds less to travel. So then on top of that, even in high sec, I often find cans that are impossible for me to hack, whereas I've seen streamers blow through low sec cans without even having to face a defensive subsystem. I want to believe that luck is luck, but I don't know. It's worth looking into. The base sensor strength of these combat probes is 24 points, which is about 10% better than even the sister probes. Now, let's see. By comparison, so it's still less than half of the strength of a sister corp scanner probe. A lot of people seem to be really liking this. A lot of the the give or take, the balance of probability between, things with high or sensor strength, because sensor strength suppresses your ability to be scanned down, versus combat probes is a delicate balance thing. So even this, 10% bonus can make it significantly better at combat probing your target. But more importantly, that 3 extra seconds cut off is gigantic. It's happened to me enough that the only thing that seems to make sense to me is tied to player skills, stats, and modules. That's weird. That's interesting. I have seen some things like, I mean, absolutely random stuff like that has ended up being true, but also like, it's very easy to pick out patterns. Especially if you're like, oh, well, they get something while I get this. Like, all of our mental biases kick in at that point. Either way. So, all that said, I think we're ready to yeet out. I've got my data analyzer 2. I've got my relic analyzer 2. I've got my probes. I've got needle jacks. I've got hull damage. I wonder if that's going to troll everybody the whole time. Let's go. Oh, yeah, also, by the way, guys, I forgot to mention this. We'll do this before we eat. Thursday is the beginning of the voting period for the CSM. Now, I have my interview with Frozen Fallout, and then I have that longer discussion with Dutch Gunner that you can go check out. They're both running for CSM. They're both really good candidates. I endorse them. I plan on Thursday talking about all of the candidates that I recommend, right? So that's a big thing that we're going to go into. I have some ideas right now, but I am open to persuasion. There's definitely some candidates I'm not aware of. So if you have a candidate that you would like to advocate for, if you'd like to bring up an argument to me, so that way I keep it in mind as I'm doing my recommendations, please comment down below. With that, I will be reviewing those all as I think about things and write it out. So yeah, please let me know your thoughts about the CSM election and who you're voting for. If you don't want to put it as a YouTube comment, you can always DM me directly on Discord or whatever. All right. So, put my safety to yellow. Right-click on myself. Pilot. Form fleet with. Wait for my session timer to go off. And decloak and yeet. Too biased to recommend my candidate? Hey, man, I'll take any sort of... If you got an argument, I'll listen to it. Okay, so we are in a metaliminal storm. The gamma ray storm. I'm in angel space. There's 3 cosmic signatures here. I'm in Faith of Bolus. Fanatic Legion. How many in local? You're not important right now. You're fine. 4 people in local. Not great. There's a Sino up. Hold on. God damn it. I see a Sino. I have to go check it out. Picks 1 through 8 are Dutch Gunner. 9 and 10 is some wormholer. Wow. Just a Falcon Sinoing some shit to a Fortizar. Okay. So that accounts for 2 of the 3 people in local. Jesus, this is a big system. Let's scan it anyways. Oh, hold on. Got to get Peld running just in case I get shot up. All right, I don't see anybody. Let's go ahead and drop probes. I also noticed that there's a lot of orbital skyhooks around here. Does make me want to think, look into the agency and see. So I just yeeted just randomly, and I'm obviously not going to run any skyhooks like this, but just in case I was, right? Just in case I did yeet out like this, there is a skyhook within 4 jumps for the next 11 minutes. And there's a skyhook within 8 jumps. So yeah, I mean, you know, if I yeeted in with a force, we could probably get there in time. I'm in a system with a Sino beacon and a jump bridge. Also, sometimes your Yeet exploration just becomes sightseeing, and that's okay too. Who's Fanatic Legion? They have a war with Bully Brigade. That makes me like them. Yeah, I don't know. Double data sites. See, already getting data sites. I've yet to find a sovereignty hub that looks like it's doing anything. Has anybody found one? Also, I've noticed that a lot of the planets, like with skyhooks on them right now, are like the power generating planets. I would have expected them to put them on all of the ice and lava planets because that's just free resources. But almost all of the skyhooks that I found are hooked to power, even though the system itself has not been converted, or at least the sovereignty hub doesn't show it being converted over yet. It's kind of weird. I don't know what's really generating that behavior, but it looks like this might not be any different. Yeah, sov flips are very limited. Yeah, I know. And that's why I was thinking that, like, why would you be harvesting power yet, right? Like, power does nothing for you until you're in the new sov. Lava and ice planets, those do something for you regardless. Oh, wow, there's rats here. This is a barren planet. So this is personnel. See? Like, this is personnel. Why do they even have this skyhook here? That's my question. Am I wrong about it? The sovereignty hub being online, or what's going on? Because harvesting personnel shouldn't do anything for you. Doing the hooks first let you install upgrades immediately after. I mean, you're right. That's true. I guess my point is that, like, often I'm not finding them on the ice and lava planets. Hey, Achieved. Hey, Achieved. You and I need to talk soon, because you and I differ. We disagree. We disagree. I'm low-key excited for Eve Galaxy Conquest. By the way, we are forming a little group for Eve Galaxy Conquest, so if you're interested in that, make sure you hop onto the COE Discord. Yeah, exactly. Ice and lava should be first. So why is there 5 skyhooks in this system and none of them... Wait, does this even have a POCO? I don't even think this has a POCO. What's happening? Am I dumb? Am I missing something? Hold on. Planet. Ice. Moons. Did they... Man, I don't know. Oh, yeah, this has the orbital skyhook there. So it should have... Yeah, they don't... The ones that don't have skyhooks also don't have POCO. I don't know what the hell they're doing in nullsec, man. These are both central data... Angel data sites, though, so that's useless to me for now. So somehow it still managed to be a bad site. Wow, there's a... Wow. Look at this area. Nobody's over here. That's going to be a playground. Let's see if we can get there. D-scan plus all. What? D-scan? No, there's... Okay. Great. I like there to be the Stargate on my D-scan, so that way, if I only see the Stargate, then I know it's clear. Oh, I mean, we don't have to talk right now. I kind of want to wait till we're closer to, or like maybe it's after it's released. But I will say, in the meantime, though, I will say to people, go ahead and check out Ashiv's video on why he doesn't think that, or why he's nervous about Eve Galaxy Conquest. Nothing here. The Stargate is 40 AU away and has no Celestials near it. That makes it very risky. I'm going to warp to this Angel Hub to get me out of alignment. I just happened to filament into my favorite area, into your favorite area to do exploration. Good luck. Good luck. Sometimes it works out. Oh, cloak. Do not warp to sites with rats without cloaking. That's bad. All right. 41 AU away. Okay. So here's the problem. I cannot get close enough to this Stargate. Let's try this place. How close is the Stargate now? No, yeah. This is the closest point to that Stargate I can get easily, but it is 36 AU away. There are 4 people in local. So the question is one of those 4 people on that gate with a bubble? Because I can only warp to it at 100. So if there's a bubble on the gate, I'll get sucked into the gate no matter what distance I warp to. They can put cans and stuff at the skin of the bubble in order to decloak me. So this is basically one of the most dangerous moments for me. So I can warp to it and do a pounce in order to get a look for things. But also, no, there's no other planets near there to go through. I can just use my warp core stabilizer or interdiction nullifier to get through it. So I'm going to align. Now, the warp core stabilizer, interdiction nullifier must be running the moment I enter warp, because that's when the end position is locked in. So I'm going to decloak, activate the interdiction nullifier, warp, and then recloak when I can. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Didn't matter. Didn't matter at all. But that's how that works. Now, though, I have a new risk. Because when I jump through, my interdiction nullifier has 2 minutes before I can do it again. So if I'm jumping into a gate camp, it's going to be tricky. Luckily, I'm not. Right? So there's always kind of these risks, and you got to decide when things are worth it and when things are not. So there's 2 people in local with me. Nothing on D-scan, but everything's super far away. So let's go ahead and drop probes, cloak, because I do have 1 signature to scan down. I do not like doing sites in systems with people in them, especially if they were there before I was. But we'll see. Throws popcorn. Hey, man. It can't all be bad. What was it? My last Yeet Exploration video? It was that I made it all the way to Pochvin and got killed on the gate, or on the wormhole. More than you don't think it's going to be a bad game, though. You're hoping for more than what we got. What it seems that we got. Well, we've got a guy who's already playing it, so you know, like we've been trying to pay attention to what it actually is, and like one thing you got to remember is that thanks to a certain someone, several of us in the core group all got addicted to Raid Shadow Legends. So the idea that like, oh, you know, the fact that it's a mobile game like isn't enough to dissuade me. It could still be perfectly fun. And the thing I really like about it is the fact that the champions in the game are major lore figures and has their lore in them as a blurb. So what they've done is basically taken every major character from every major story. Templar 1, Odyssey, or Empyrean Age, Theodicy, Black Temple, yeah, Black Temple, Black Mountain, all those major stories and characters from there are the heroes that you have, right? So I don't know. I find that kind of cool, you know. That's a fun thing to collect, and I think that it'll be a good opportunity for me to go over the lore of these characters. I'm just, one thing I will say is that I'm not saying that it is AI art, but it is very much that over-stylized pseudo AI art, like mobile game aesthetic. And so I'm kind of waiting to see what the Karsoth profile is, because if he's anything besides hideous, I'm going to be mad. Okay, an Executor just landed on gate with me. That's not great. There are people moving around. That's not great. There's a heist going on. That's also not great. Did I finish scanning down the thing? I don't even think I finished scanning down the thing. Whatever. I felt it was weird that all the pirate corps got together and forced Empire to move. Seemed unlikely. Well, so that's the one thing I think, like, I wonder if they're going to go with... Here's my question. Who did it? Who united the pirate factions? Right? Because there's two major possibilities, in my opinion. It's either Sancho Kavaki or it's the Deathless. Right? So that's why I think that, like, as you look into the story, it might be a good idea. But one thing I will say is, like, I wouldn't necessarily look too much into, like, lore importance in Eve Echoes, or not Eve Echoes, Eve Galaxy Conquest, because it is a scenario-based thing that's supposed to run over and over and over and over and over again. So, like, it's not like a continuing story or anything like that. Could be the other. I'd like it to be Sancha, but it could be some ancient who came back. Well, I was thinking, like, you know, Sancha makes a good big bad. And the fact that the logo that all of the pirates are using is the Sancha logo is, to be honest, kind of confusing. So it helped explain that. Unknown parts of space. So that's C1 through C3. That's actually kind of good for me. Like, this would be a good wormhole to point at, to go poke at, if I wasn't already in such a good place in Nullsec, or at least will be soon. Let's go ahead and keep going. Once again, there is no place near that hole, so I'm going to align to it. We're going to see if it works again. Decloak. Inhib. Warp. Cloak. Nullifier, not inhibitor. The inhibitor. My bet is on what might happen if Capsuleers did not exist, as were not mentioned. That's an interesting way of thinking about it. But that doesn't mean that it's not an alternative timeline. I'm an impasse by myself with a shit ton of cosmic signatures in system with me. Have I hit paradise? I'm in a goon system. Oh, there is one skyhook. I do think it's funny that, from my understanding, the best ship in the game right now is the Scythe. Or best cruiser, rather. Better than the Gila, stat-wise. Yeah, an alternative history where the Capsuleers didn't keep the pirates in check. I like it. No, yeah. I don't know when, like, it's supposed to split from the main timeline. I also don't think it matters too much. That being said, there are characters in, well, okay. Does anybody know the name of the pilot, the Capsuleer pilot in Templar 1 and Empyrean Age, off the top of your head? Because now I'm wondering, because I bet you if you go through all of the heroes, you'll be able to find a Capsuleer among them. And also, there are definitely, like, Phaleg Grange is a clone. And he's talked about. If you want to learn more about how to scan echoes and rings, I do a really good demonstration of the different, like, tricks for probing in my Yeet Exploration video. In the meantime, I'm just going to do it poorly. What if GC is just an in-game game the pirates created to mock the empires? I like it. I dig it. I just think that it doesn't matter that much. Like, don't read into it. It's less of a plot and more of a framing device. It matters, Ash. Look. We'll see when we get there, okay? I'm just saying, like, they already have, like, they have characters that in their description, it tells you how they died. My favorite one, no, okay, so, God, what was it? There's a guy who's a complete loser in the story. Just an absolute loser in the story. God, hold on. Let me go see if I can find it. We do have an Eve Galaxy Conquest channel in our Discord where we're talking about, or, you know, we're seeing stuff about stuff. Let's see. Those are the 1 star, or like the 2 stars or whatever. Where was? Oh, yes! This idiot. This guy. So just so you don't think that they're all like this, you know, we've got over here, we've got Karen Midgelar, you know, previous head of the Galente, or of the Mimitar Republic. We've got Otro Goriyushi doing his best Kano impression, former CEO of Ishikone. We have Santamona Serpati, the head of the, or the head Reverend Mother of the Sisters of Eve. You know, we have some pretty notable characters. And then we have this guy. And for some reason, they put his story along with the other ones. Who is this guy? This guy was the CEO of Caldari Constructions. His entire purpose in the storyline, you can read it here. In fact, I'll just read it to you. Takebara Shutsu was CEO of Caldari Constructions when Tibus Heth led the revolt around Armor Forge on Pyac 3. While Home Guard troops opened fire on protesting workers, Takebara Shutsu attempted to cut off the head of the worker movement by assassinating Heth. However, it was spectacularly bungled and prompted further rioting from the workers. This, together with previous news flash about revolt and deployment of Home Guard dropships, resulted in the Caldari construction stock soaring and Heth eventually become the majority owner. I don't know if that made his stock soar, but whatever. After setting the seal on the new order of the Caldari constructions, the disgraced Tokibara Shitsu ceded his personal stock to Heth before taking his own life. So this guy's entire existence was to react poorly to Tibus Heth's little uprising at the foundry, sending in the Home Guard, trying to assassinate Heth and killing the wrong guy, getting screwed over by the broker, and then handing over his shares to Tibus Heth and killing himself. That is his story. I hope you like him. Put him on a ship. I don't know why anybody would want this guy as a hero. I don't understand. I don't understand. Apparently, you have to, wait, activated when 3 members are in the same fleet? I hope that's not these 3 people. State giants. He's listed as a state giant. You have to put this fucker with Otro Goriyushi in order to get a bonus? Also, he looks like the Kingpin. Like, I don't know, man. That's my example. All right, let's get back to exploration. It's pretty amazing, isn't it? It's like, of all of the characters you could pull out, you went with the secondary character whose entire job was to fuck up and die. Well, yeah, OM, but what I'm saying is it looked like you have to combine the different people together, which means in order to get that bonus for Archer Goyushi, you have to pair him with one of the most disgraced CEOs in recent Caldari history. Hey, Punch, how's it going? It's a combat site, but I'm still going to just scan it down. Whatever. I like scanning things. There you go. 07, Pod 7. Exactly. I went to the pumpkin patch with my dad and my son. And as my son was going to go run into the obstacle course by himself, as he was leaving, he goes, 07. And I said, 07. And my dad was like, what does that mean? Well, this system's ending up being pretty good so far. 2 Crimson Harvest and a Relic Site. Hopefully nobody's frantically coming this way because they're stream sniping me. Okay, that's a little far away. Hey, Punchinello, a member for 13 months. 07, thank you so much. Yeah. Well, certainly not my dad. My dad isn't really hip with the internet stuff. Especially not like the gaming world. My dad's a psychologist. He's got a whole nother world to pay attention to. A little behind on the video, but don't skyhooks replace Bocos? Yes, skyhooks replace Pocos on planets that they are placed on. There are bigger fish to catch in that area at the moment with all the moving ops going on. That's true. Did I get nothing? Did it not scan? Ooh, 3 data sites and a relic site. Gonna be a good system. Now, normally I actually start hacking while I'm scanning, but because I'm talking to everybody and I'm explaining things a little bit, I'm kind of doing things one at a time. No problem, Ragtag. Yeah, we were talking about why the choices people have made about what planets to put skyhooks on versus what systems to convert over to the new system. One more? Oh, that's yeah, okay. One more. So because that's still a red bubble there, I know it's actually like way up here. I was wrong. So the new items to turn into the Deathless, are they in any and all relic sites, regardless of sex status? That is my understanding. Once again, another red bubble. So it's right here. Oh, I was off to the side. That's why. Or it was off to the side. Boom. Oh! Oh! 5 Crimson Harvest and Tetramon sites. Oh, no, sorry. 4. One Angel data site. Let's start with the relic site, guys. I'm going to pull in my probes. We're going to go to the relic site. We warp in at 100, and I hit Control B, and I look at my warp vector. As soon as my warp vector is less than 10,000 kilometers, I'm going to hit count. There we go. Right then. Almost didn't make it in time. But now I have this bookmark 360 kilometers from me that I can warp to and be on grid with all of the cans. And so now I can warp back and forth to all of the cans. You want to do this because A, it makes it so that you can be faster, especially between the cans that are like 40, 50 kilometers apart. But more importantly, especially if you're in like a wormhole or something like that, where you don't know if somebody's watching you. Oh, look, the black monolith is here. My God, it's full of stars. You want to be as unpredictable as possible. So instead of traveling between the cans, which can be like watched and they can figure out where you're going, if you just warp from can to can, it makes it a little bit harder for them to catch you. Hey, 4 Adivums. First can, 4 Adivums. Dare I say, today's starting to look like a good day. Just to mention about skyhooks, take into consideration that there are more things such as keeping existing jump gates and large numbers and routers and miners in alliance to not disrupt. Yeah, Ragtag, what I was saying is that given the fact that they were not swapping their sovereignty over, I was surprised that all of the skyhooks were on power and personnel and not lava and ice. Because the lava and ice will still be producing resources that are worth something to people. Whereas right now, like a system that isn't converted, that is getting power, isn't really getting anything for that. You see what I'm saying? Now, there is the whole thing about like, well, you got to put down your power skyhooks before you're ready to put down your, or, you know, swap over. But I still would have thought that by now, most of the ice and lava planets would be, you know, covered because they're the valuable ones. These are the 90-20. If I had that 45 right now, I could just bust this in two turns. As it is, it takes me 3. And this one too, 90-10. Not an Adivum. I love how the green can gave me 4 Adivums, and the red can gave me shit. How do you feel about MPSI exploration? Like a group of folks filamenting out and just exploring together, picking routes for each other and looking out for each other? I like it. I like the idea. The problem, so like... As much as I've liked the idea of like group-based exploration before, and back when there were spew cans, I was kind of an advocate for it. It is just so hard to realistically get that kind of thing going, because one guy is pretty much doing it at any given time, and everybody else is just sort of sitting around. So what I like to do is I like to be the explorer for a group that's going out to do something. Like especially in the winter event, right? We'll yeet out a squad over to like the null weather site. I need to go. Oh, you know what this is? You know what this is? This is the this is a raiding fleet, right? This is a Skyhook raiding fleet. Maybe that's why they're not doing it, because they don't want to be raided. But yeah, they would be going out to run the sites or whatever, and I would be the explorer that goes with them. Like that, I found that to be pretty successful. But like, other than, you know, I'm a mentor bringing out somebody with me to show them the ropes, it hasn't really played out that way. Yeah, I mean, it is a good way to do, like, that would work, but I mean, ultimately at that point, like, what is the functional difference between that and just everybody yeeting into their own location? You're going to just split up immediately. What's the point? I think it'd be much more fun to like have a little competition, right? Like we all start in one place and we all yeet out at the exact same time. And the person that, you know, within 2 hours has the most stuff and gets it home or whatever wins. Also, that was more Adavums. I'm at 9 now. Hell yeah. 9 Adavums. Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely room for that if you want to do it that way. But like I said, you could just as easily just go to different locations. Hey man, this is just making up for my Friday, I think. The secret to doing well in hacking is to stream it. Okay, so this one right here had a defensive node, right? Which means that one of these remaining 5 nodes has to be the core. Boom. Rule of 6, baby! Group PvP with an exploration chaser. Yeah, I think that it'd be a lot better for there to be like a Skyhook raiding squad or an ESS raiding squad with an explorer with them that can do exploration sites while they're bored. That happens in Pochvin sometimes because you want to bring a scout and then that scout can like go and do the hacking sites. I guess for me, I see that NPSI has options for combat, but it's interesting that there isn't really group play for exploration, even though I feel like they could draw attention to people that get PV. So, like I said, they've tried to do group PV exploration in the past with things like spew cans and the drifter hives originally required multiple people in multiple locations in order to unlock things. But they undid that. It just seems like group exploration stuff appears to be not very popular. I don't agree, Davon, because I would say that explorers have one of the most famous, popular, and universally agreed upon places for new players, which is Eve Scout. Or, rather, Signal Cartel. I'm going to regret having used my spike right there. I guarantee. Oh, never mind. Ooh. Yay, super current pieces. All right, so that's the relic site. I got a total of 5 million. So I got 5 million, no ISK, but I got 9 Atomums. Got it. Let's go to the Tetramon networking site. Actually, I don't think you want to warp to these at range, right? Because it's only like a single can. Is that right? We'll find out when we get there. It's not as public-facing as, say, Spectre Fleet. Go into the rookie chat at any given time and say that you're Explorer looking for a corp and see who they recommend. Yeah. Well, okay, I see people recommending Eve Scout or Signal Cartel all the time. I mean, I don't know. I think that that's very much a matter of like where you're paying attention. Because I always see, like, I think of Signal Cartel as being like something that everybody's told about at some point. Oh shit, that's a rule of 6. Golly. Hey, cool. Hey, more noise. Yeah, normally when you're doing data and relic sites, you do data sites for the filaments and you do relic sites for the money. During the Shadow Wars, I have seed fleets that probably have half the explorers and have combat due to the nation. Dude, I don't think that there's been a better time in Eve than Shadow Wars. Well, no, that's not true. There's been better times in different ways, because like Invasion Chapter 1 and 2 is also pretty sweet, but like there's never been a better time for PvPvE than Shadow Wars. Oh, cool. Or clone blank. I feel like it can be replicated with player initiative. I don't think so. I mean, the fact that you could, like, there were sites in high sec and low sec, but they also caused suspect flags was such a unique situation that it really got a lot of people involved and excited in ways that I don't think I've seen before. Well, at least not since Invasions Chapter 3. Oh! Hell yeah! Hyperbolic clone tissue, baby! 250 million estimated price? Ooh, bro, how? I'm telling you, step one. Step one, be a streamer. And that's all I want to do is give people insight. I don't necessarily think I'm always right or whatever. I say my arguments loudly. Oh no. No! 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 I don't want to stare. No! I'm being greedy. I'm going to be greedy. Oh my god, I can't be that greedy. I have the loot in my cargo hold. I have to go. I can't be doing this, guys. I need to go. Shit. What am I doing? Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Why now, puppy? Why now? 5? Oh my god. Is this worst case scenario? 90, 10, still have 20. I'm out! Warp to star. I did. I did. All right, well, I would have liked to have more relic sites, and I would have liked to have finished that Tetramon network, but apparently I'm not competing with a fucking Astero. I can't. I'm telling you, if I had pushed it, there's no way that I wouldn't have died with this in my cargo. 0% chance. Okay, let's... I'm still uncloaked. Let's just go home. So that way we can work on the turn-in. I'm really interested in what the hyper-catapult... whatever. Ooh... All right, so I'm in Archie. So I go to eatingcom.space, go to Pochvin system information. Archie is the home system of Kryveles, which means I'm one jump for Vale. Oh my god. Let's do this. There's the anchorage. And angry federal forces. I see rogue drones, but no eating comm. But still, we're going to launch our probes, scan down these 2 sites while we wait our 15-minute timer. Just try to do some other sites as well. It helps fill the gap in that time. Trust me, well, there's things to look at and do in Pochvin to buy the time. There's, oh, look, there's an Overmind progenitor. Oh, there's 2 wormholes. God damn it. Oh my god. I'm going to do something silly, aren't I? Something I recommend doing in rearguard faction warfare sites, hacking encoder and decoders. Yes, I've actually, I actually have a ship. I think I have a gas huffing ship that also has a relic analyzer. So that way I can roam around and scan for gas sites and then also run those relic sites if I find them in the backlines. All right, that's 1 wormhole. All right, you can't even see what I'm doing here. Hanging out in Pochvin with the SS loot box. What could go wrong? Yeah. Okay. So I've got 2 unstable wormholes. No reason to believe that either of them go where I want them to. That one does go where I want to, though. EVE Online is a game about the practical application of bad ideas. We're going to make a landing pounce. Bring a cargo scanner, look for encoders, decoders. Yes, you have to have a cargo scanner to do that. That's true. Like, it is a place where you need to be cherry picking if you're doing those sites. Keep hearing a dinner bell. Hey now. All right, we are back in Essence. Now I can set destination as Zarzak. Both routes have lawlessness in the way, so that should be exciting. Let's go. Wait, what if I turn off avoid incom systems? Nope, doesn't change anything. Got it. Let's go. So at this point, the plan is to go to Zarzak and see if I can get this thing turned in without exploding. You forgot how badass your character is? Oh. Bro, you scary. Is it worth dumping some of the other stuff in NPC station and route? Look, if this was about doing things the right way, we wouldn't be here at this point. So, no, I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, the value of everything else in my ship combined is less than 20 million. So, and the ship itself is worth 435 million. So, no, not really worth it. A lot of people hate on EVE Exploration, but I love it. Ignoring the ISK factor when you look at from a who lives where and what happens in that space, it's actually amazing. Exploration can be really, really fun. It requires a few things. It requires you to understand the scanning mechanics, understand the hacking mechanics, and also there's a certain amount of, like, you got to remember that exploration is about going weird places and finding weird things, right? Like, it's not just about scanning down signatures and hacking cans. It's not just the numbers game. It's about ending up in weird places and finding things that you didn't know was out there, right? So, or at least seeing it for yourself. So, yeah, I think that exploration as a career has been kind of my most continuously interesting, like, the profession that I fall back to. Kind of like when you dive into a new place and you find a random cookout in the middle of the boonies. You look, who put this here? Well, it's just like, you know, when we went out to do exploration, the first thing I did was like, oh, look, there's a cyno. Let's go see what's going on, right? Like, it's not always a good idea. It's most of the time a bad idea, but that's not, you're not there to make good decisions. You didn't randomly teleport or you didn't teleport yourself to a random nullsec system because you're going to be like careful and methodical. Like if we rewind your scene, you potentially saw a raiding fleet for a skyhook. What if you actually combat scan them down or just watch them bash? Yeah, I could have absolutely. And in a lot of cases, I would have. Like if I could see them, I could be like, oh, where are they going? I'm going to watch them. I want to see a skyhook raid. I want to see a skyhook raid. Like I could pull up the agency thing, and see where the nearest skyhook is to try to figure out where they're going and get my eyes on it and check it out. Yeah, absolutely. But the ISK per hour, to anybody who says that, like, my response is, what are you earning all that ISK for? Right? There are things that you do to earn ISK, and there are things that you earn ISK to be able to do. Don't confuse those two. It's not a problem to earn ISK from the things that you do, but if you're doing the thing that you want to do, don't make yourself miserable by optimizing the fun out of it. Just have fun. Some people like seeing numbers go, absolutely. And yeah, absolutely. And to those people, they should do it. That's what I'm saying. Like, some people are doing it to make the ISK and see how much money they make. But my point is that usually this is coming up in the context of something costing ISK without building up ISK. Like, for instance, paying for your faction warfare group with your high-sec groups, taxes, you know, or whatever, right? Like, you know, the faction warfare group doesn't need to justify its spending. It's the cost, right? Like, we earn this money so that we can fight the war. It doesn't matter if the war is profitable or not. If it's profitable, then great. But, like, we have the ISK to fight the war. The war is the point. Like, that is amazing to me. It's what made Pochvin and the creation of it so great. I was just a lonely explorer that took arms for my space. And then I got into a new Pochvin. And I'm like, ooh, yeah. Formation of Pochvin was great. I think that, man, I really wish there wasn't so many haters about that whole thing. You can play to have fun or make money. If you're there to have fun, losing money doesn't really matter. Well, the point is that, like, it's not about whether or not you win, you lose money, because chances are, unless something goes horribly wrong, like, you might want to make sure you're not losing money all the time. Although, like I said, if you're doing a war, then, like, your goal isn't to make money. Your goal is to get something done. This is spooky. But, like, so I used to do, like, invasion fleets, right? And we wouldn't, or you can do home fronts and get like 60 million ISK per hour or whatever. Or even missions, right? Missions are 20, or, 10, 20 million ISK per tick at most. So, I can go do missions with the boys and people will be like, that's not as good as this other way. I'm like, the best way to get ISK is the thing that you're willing to do the longest, right? If running missions for 10 million ISK a tick is the thing that gets you to do it all day, then guess what? You're going to earn a lot more money than the thing that takes, like, powerful amounts of focus and preparation and planning and has to be done in this narrow time and, like, exhausts you right away or you hate doing. I look at it, if I had to retell my day, like a few hours I had in game as a story, how would I retell it? Sometimes that story may be boring, but a lot of times something exciting happens. Exactly. I'm saying that so the ISK that you're earning from an activity is a good metric of your efficiency within that activity. It's a good way to strive to do well and avoid dumb losses, right? But ultimately, it's just a metric. And you should be doing things because you want to do them. And the ISK be incidental. You know, love what you do and never work a day in your life. Should is a strong word there, for sure. But in my philosophy, there you go. If the new expansion opens up Jove space or part of it, what do you think will be there for players to do? Exploration. I think that there's going to be ruined buildings and other sites to run and hack and whatnot to try to recover old Jovian technology from their decaying remains. I don't see any ships there. What kind of rats? I don't know. Rogue drones, maybe? If Joe Space on the menu? I mean, it's kind of always on the menu. I wouldn't necessarily say that there's a strong idea that we're going to get that soon. However, this war between the Deathless and the Drifters is interesting. And the idea of striking the heart of darkness is very evocative. You know, the question is what is the heart of darkness in this context? Is it a drifter location? Is it a drifter location that we've previously been unaware of? Is it Jove space? Even in Pochvin in the early days, and now then, I didn't have relic sites or data sites to run, but I had my D-scan. I would follow NPC fleets and loot them. Yeah, I will say that the exploration in Pochvin is pretty weak in general. They've made it a little bit better, but it's pretty much weak in general. I mean, I could be dumb and say that Zarzak is Jove space. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, and that's the thing is that, like, do your ISK making activities, even exploration, good ISK making activity, but don't let it get you in the way. Don't let it get in the way of you appreciating the game. Does that make sense? That work? The stuff in Zarzak, I mean, I would argue it appears third generation Jovian, but I don't know if we know what second Jovian, second Empire Jovian stuff looked like in the same way. So I don't know how to answer that. We'll just do it in the transportation synesis. I'm so fucking nervous, guys. All right. I'm not going to explain what I'm about to do. I'm just going to do it. And then I'll tell you what I did afterwards, and we'll see if it works out. That is what I was afraid of. There's 3 Jovian regions. They don't need all of it. That's true. Okay. I'm about to do something really silly, guys. Oh, wait, there's the Ares. Too many people I recognize in here. Okay. I can't descan. I got my finger on the warp. What? I got it, guys. I got it. Woo. Let's see what I got. Well, one thing I was thinking about is that they could open it up literally one system at a time because all the Stargates are gone. So you could get one system and then you have to build the capacity to go to the next system. It'd be like a true pioneering kind of experience, but you couldn't actually establish anything permanent because nanorot is running wild out there. All righty. Ready? Ready to see what we get? One, two, three, four. I get Deathless Circle Relic Analyzer Blueprint. Sweet. Oh, the new Blue Fair Net Analyzer implant. This is like instead of black glass. Oh, wait. This decreases virus strength for data analyzers? Never mind, I don't like it. This one's terrible. Where's the rest of it? I've got two more things. 233 Deathless Research honorums. So this thing was worth 255 million, and I just got this, which these are worth $1 million each. So I turned it in. I got these BPCs and 233 million ISK so far. And the fourth thing is 57 combat scanner probes, baby! Excellent. So I got my hacking module. I got 233 million ISK, and I got my combat probes. Super awesome. 10 of 10. Worth it. See, it's super easy. All you have to do is yeet into null, find a system with 5 data sites and 1 relic site, and then go into the data site and find a hypercatabolic clone tissue sample and then turn that in, and you make a fortune. Like, anybody can do it. All right. Well, I think that's a pretty good show for today. Let's see. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about? I do ask that, or if anybody's interested in joining us in the Convocation Empyreans, we have free ships to give out. We have mining fleets. We have other shit going on. If you want to help maximize player engagement with EVE Online, go ahead and join COE. If you are new to EVE or returning to EVE or otherwise have not gotten your free million skill points, make sure to use the link down below or in the chat right now to get your million free SP. It does help out those who help out the show. On top of that, buy merch. Other cool things. Let's see. Anything else? Anything else? Can I think of anything? Let me go look. Oh! No, there's a couple things to talk about. Before we finish, Zarzak report, Harada Oki Memorial. There is a new, yes, like the stream for the guineas. There is a new New Eden news as of 3 days ago. So it was on Saturday because CSP hates me. But Zarzak report, Harada Oki Memorial. This is the New Eden news for October 11th, YC126. Zarzak report, Harada Oki Memorial. Disclaimer, the scope cannot verify the veracity of this individual account of events, and their opinions do not represent the opinions of scope. We trust that our readers have the capacity to decide for themselves what is an appropriate degree of skepticism to apply to the following narrative. Despite my best efforts, I am still alive. Others have been less fortunate. Let's explain a little bit what's going on if you guys don't actually know. So, since the siege of Zarzak began, we've gotten several reports about what's going on from inside of Zarzak, this embedded reporter who straight up said that chances are she's going to get killed because people have caught on the fact that she's reporting to the scope. And so, you know, this might be her last message. So obviously that wasn't her last message, but she was afraid it would be. All right. Let's smother any speculations over why I've not been ordered to exit the fulcrum through the nearest airlock. A memorial was held today, and this is not the time for my factory default navel gazing. Yesterday, the Harada Oki held their own clan-exclusive funeral rites in a manner and location unknown. I would like to imagine they committed the remains of their comrades back to the cold vacuum of the great wildlands that birthed them. The thought brings me more comfort than the bitter bottle I drained in their name. Today's memorial was for the rest of us, the sedentary denizens of this colossus. Members of every ring of the Deathless Circle came out to pay their respects. From the wraiths to the custodians. Some Satori Harigo suits even showed up and bowed their perfectly coiffed heads. Some Angel Cartel affiliates slid in, and even the Garista stopped by to pay a pirate's due. The Garistas have been a known associate with the fraternal aggressors who ushered a number of the departed into their final journey, but shared an understanding of professionally negotiable allegiance meant that none were sour over the contradiction. Even Vespis Minmala, elder statesman of the 9th Mega, was spotted in the crowd. So, what they're saying is fraternity was the major aggressor, and the Garistas are paired with the fraternity, and yet they were still welcome. I always thought that fraternity was more connected to the Angel Cartel, but yeah. Caravan Master Malaya Harada read a list of the names of every single crew member who passed, a process that proved the crowd's respect by testing their patience. As she spoke, her face was dark, but her eyes were clear. Beside her sat the grand treasure that justified all that frozen blood floating out in Avanod, an Adavum. She ended her list with praise for the Capsuleers who had declined to kill her family members. Quote, I thank all those who remained true and made sure that our clanner's cargo completed its journey when they could not. We honor Voano Itovu, first to deliver the Adavum into our hands. Like the others who fought beside us, she asked for neither riches nor glory, our journey's shield. From that first Adavum, our scientists were able to determine what we would need to reveal the mystery that haunts our system. Now they have built a research facility to which all the atoms scattered across the cluster may be brought and studied so we may better understand the secrets of this forgotten technology. Dr. Esme Moreno will join them in their efforts uncovering new insights. Malaya pointed to the crowd at the flustered visage of Dr. Esme Morano, a chemotech geneticist brought to the fulcrum by some capsuleer who goes by Rabbit P. Esme has long since abandoned her high-sec origins. Now the good doctor is one of the Circle's top minds. According to the lab tech I regularly entertain with my stories of misfortune, Morano has been working on the bleeding edge of genetic manipulation in partnership with some hood-wearing chanting types. The Deathless himself has put out another call for more out of him, Malaya continued, and these mysterious devices are already pouring in. There is a secret hidden outside our doors, and if we can understand it, it will be one step closer to achieving the future we all fight for. And this was met by a loud applause from the crowd, though the louder silence from the angels and Garistas present. A future my people have bled for, time and time again. Today we honor their names. Tomorrow we finish what they started. Cheers echoed so loudly you'd think the walls screamed in unison. Glasses were raised, and I myself dove deep into my cups. The honored dead passed on in the dishonorable manner those of their lifestyle often do. Every one of them was a roughneck vagabond, a thief, a murderer, a petty outlaw, but they were also my friends. News in brief. SOCT calls emergency summit of Concord Inner Circle to discuss growing concerns over Deathless Circle. Emitar Mandate celebrates 5-year anniversary of Lord Ekros Zalef ascension to Holder. Amarian veterans of Drifter War meet with Empress to plead case for security response to recent activities. Thucker Mix CEO Egar Aldenald and Thucker Chief NR Abul meet to discuss Harada Oki controversy. FIO deny any connections to dead body recovered in Koleli following spike in Sync Liaison's ship traffic. And that's it for today's New Eden News. One thing I do want to point out from this final note, FIO deny any connection to dead body recovered in Koleli following a spike in Sync Liaison traffic. That is actually, I believe, connected to this previous report with the Thucker Mix outrage report from a few days ago that says, Federation ship activity in Afe, no cause for concern, says authorities. The reason why this is if we can go to the forums really quick, and we go to the fiction portal Intergalactic Summit, we will see, oh boy, now I don't know. Oh yeah, never mind. Yeah, we see this post by Mantle Global Industries. Basically, a section of the Gal Mill had recovered one of the atoms and wanted to return it to the FIO, or give it to the FIO, because, you know, they're Gal Mill. So they put out this statement about it and all this stuff. And Quinn Rhodes, who's also really big in Gal Mill, puts out this message. Clockwork Angels, along with the assistance from Aderon Robotics, has recovered a small amount of the Atom material from the wrecks of the Thucker Mix convoy, intercepted around 1530 New Eden Standard Time from the Avenod system. Under advisement from Peacekeepers, is looking for a point of contact with the Federal Navy and Federal Intelligence Office for secure delivery of the material. And then we see AFE 126, 10, 11, 1500, Freedom Needs Protectors. And this is a NPC actor. Or, well, actually, this is just the dev, it seems. Well, no, this is a dev being an NPC actor, Agent Wedge. So then that is, I guess that's, the AFE is before the thing. But my understanding is that the second post, this one, FIO denied any connection with dead body recovered in Koleli, was based on, like, so they had this convoy and then it got attacked and some of them died, but they did manage to recover some of the Atom, or, you know, they managed to get the Atom to the FIO. So there's a whole player side of things that are going on. And also, it's worth noting that, like, this doctor was one of the Chemeltech geneticists. So when they had all the Chemeltech geneticists, in fact, we can probably Nope. Not this one. I thought there was there's a Reddit post or something showing Zarzak. Hold on. Yeah. So the Deathless Custodians paid 3 billion ISK for this geneticist, it seems. Fraternity has safely returned the geneticist to Oscillate. Chemeltech, which claims to focus on employee welfare and safety, is only willing to pay 1 billion ISK for their geneticist. On the other hand, we are waiting for the Deathless and Triglavian reply. A couple hours ago, Deathless offered to triple the price to compensate for the negligence in geneticist safety. We hope the geneticist will be able to utilize his or her talent in a more suitable environment and contribute to the development of science and technology for New Eden. Turns out that happened, and this is Rabbit P. If you see, this is Rabbit P, who is the person that is talked about in this article, Rabbit P. So that's pretty cool. Like, this is a great example of, like, how, yeah, we're not, like, sculpting, like, we're not deciding the fate of the universe in every given moment, but, like, these are things that happen and players are contributing to it, and we don't know what kind of echoes our decisions are going to make, just like in real life. So let that be a lesson to you. Eve, just like in real life, you never know what your impact is, what impact your decisions are going to make. All that said, I've been Ashrothi. I've been playing this game since 2010, talking about it since 2012, and I'm here to put even to context for you, my fellow Empyreans. Thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you for checking things out. We do still have the Yosef Okada journal entries to go over, but we haven't gotten too many new ones, and all I would do is read them out. So I will say that there are new journal entries that are dropping. If you do manage to get one, make sure to check out the Airtalker Research Consortium and see if nobody else has it, because you can see there are several of them that are still missing. And I personally feel like I don't have enough for me to pull out of this without more information. So hopefully we'll have more by tomorrow, where we will meet up again, I think. And then, of course, Thursday, we have the beginning of voting season. Please let me know, again, in the comments down below, who are you voting for? Who should I recommend you vote for, and why? But with all that said, thank you to all my supporters, and Ari Danica for your 23 months. And Punch, thank you guys. And all of you for watching, commenting, liking, subscribing, and sharing it with a friend, because that's how we get this out there. My channel is here to help raise literacy of EVE Online and make people understand the game better, because I believe that a better player base makes a better game. All that said, I've been Ashrothi, the voice of New Eden. Until next time, I'll see you in space. Bye, merch. No puppy camps this time, sorry.
Bring on the wrecking machine. city